became the U.S. of A. United we will stand, but divided we fall. One nation under God says it all. Men are created equal, words written in by hand. They all stand to fight when a cry for freedom rings. Freedom isn't free, it comes with a cost. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all. This whole world's changing, it's changing every day. For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up everybody, stand proud and tall. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all.
Good evening and welcome to IITW Radio. It is, what's the date today? 16th?
Yep.
10/16. Holy crap, it's almost Halloween. Okay, that was Calvin O that opened up the show tonight with One Nation Under God. What a great song. Why does my hat look crooked? I don't know. Okay, we'll get it straightened out here in a little bit. Anyways, I got Greg, you need a hat on. As always, my co-host on the political show, Problems in American Democracy, and boy, is there a lot of them, Mr. Greg Williams.
Hey, how are you?
How come you get the hand clap every night?
I don't know.
Nice tie, by the way.
I'm American, the beautiful tie. Hey, I am we the people.
You are the people. Okay.
Hey, what do you think about LeBron James, man? He loves China and hates America. What's up with that? Defending China. Everything with China is cool. We can't talk about China in America. He don't want free speech for Americans. Let me tell you, China's a terrible dictatorship. They've been bad. They're a bad actor, and I'm glad Trump's standing up to him. But this guy, LeBron James, wants to trash Trump, wants to trash America, and then he celebrates China. I'll never wear a LeBron James shoe. LeBron James is done for me. I'm in solidarity with the kids and the young people and the professors and the intelligent people in Hong Kong. Let freedom ring in Hong Kong. LeBron James, you're dumb. You're dumb. You must get your news from CNN. I'm thinking LeBron James and James Kilpatrick, the quarterback that was no good, that can't make it anymore. I think that they both get their news from CNN. They must spend all their idle time listening to CNN and then believing the nonsense from CNN. I don't believe it.
Yeah, well, LeBron James, he's talking about it. He needs to be talking about China's abuse. You got people over there in concentration camps. You got people in Hong Kong that are. He supported Kaepernick. Come on, give me a break. I'll burn both their jerseys. Matter of fact, if you got any of their jerseys hanging around?
He's uninformed. I don't buy that.
I will burn one on the air. Got to give a shout outs real quick to Linda Bailey, Robert Putman, Desiree. Our girl's on tonight. Holy crap. Dawn Freeman, she says, how are you guys this evening? I guess I'm doing all right.
Hey.
If we were as good as her, hell, we'd have it made,
Yeah.
Desiree said, hey, it's your one and only. And then she got.
Oh, we love Desiree.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever come up with a song for Desiree?
I'm working on it.
I know you got one for Jolie.
Desiree, I got one a little bit like that. It goes a little like this. Desiree, don't go away. Desiree.
Yeah, that'll work. But you got you got the people in concentration camps over there. What else did I have written down on here? Anyways, you got all these people that are human rights violations and everything that China's doing, and the people of Hong Kong are just pissed off about it. I was watching something the other night.
Out of it. Yeah, it is what it is.
They were flying American flags.
The Chinese don't really get the whole contract principle. They're supposed to give the Hong Kong people plenty of latitude until 2047. They signed some deal with the Brits. The Brits got weak. They sold out, gave up their empire. And for some reason, China is going to try to screw Hong Kong. And you know what? Hong Kong is better than China. Hong Kong, the people there have freedom. And mainland China, they don't. And that's a problem for mainland China. China could be a great country, but they got to get rid of the Communist Party. The Communist Party needs a reformation. The Communist Party is inherently evil, period. End of story. Yet the Democrats, hell, they love them. They want to be them. They look up to them. They want to tell us what to eat, what we can eat, what we can drive, what we can't drive. They want to ban everything. The Democratic debate last night was an excellent commercial to reelect Donald Trump. The only one of those Democrats that says anything that has any credibility about anything once in a blue moon is that Hawaiian girl, and they don't like the lady from Hawaii. She's a hell of a lot better than the senator from Hawaii, Gabbard. I like Gabbard, but she's probably not going to be able to run. And she's still, her foreign policy is still a little bit spooky, but Gabbard seems like she's more level-headed than most of the Democrat lunatics that are running for president.
Yeah, we got to give a Grace Thomas says she's a first-time listener. We like those. Hopefully, she hangs around for the second and third and fourth and fifth time. I don't know. You keep killing my audience, though, Greg. I'm just joking with you. Hello, Glennis. My brother Terry's listening. Haven't talked to you, Terry. I hope I.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's beating the cancer thing. They said he wouldn't live.
I hope he does well.
3 major surgeries. He's like 90. I think he went up to 96 pounds now.
That's good. So he's gaining some weight.
He's kicking some ass.
He might make it. Keep it up.
Yeah. I already announced that was Calvin O, right? No. Okay, yeah, that was Cal. I have to give Calvin O a shout out. He's the one that opens up every night on our political show with One Nation Under God. What a great song. You know what? They need to start playing that. But you're right about Gabbard. I watched her in the debates last night, and if anybody was going to go against Trump, yeah, I mean, O'Rourke, Beto O'Rourke.
He's a joke.
Give me a joke. He's talking about kicking in the door. Now, one thing we are going to be doing is I got with the Heritage Foundation, and I ordered some books. So if you guys and gals want to get one of these, it is a pocket constitution. If you know somebody that's a total dumbass that doesn't know about the Constitution and you want to give them one, if you'll write in, send me a private message on the IITW radio on Facebook. I'll make sure you get one of these. I only have about 40 of these. So, man, we're going to start going over. We were talking about it. Was it yesterday, Greg? Or today? I can't remember.
About what?
About starting to do.
Yeah.
Each week, starting next week, we're going to start breaking down the Constitution one amendment at a time.
The
under the
First
Bill of Rights.
Amendment, of course, being what free speech and others, but First Amendment was free speech. Second Amendment protects free speech, the right to bear arms. But I'll tell you, the Democrats, they don't really like free speech. They only like their politically correct speech. They don't want you to talk about Biden's son in Ukraine and China and how Biden's son can go to China and 10 days later get $1 billion loan from China. I mean, the whole thing just stinks to high heaven because guess what? Biden is the swamp. Biden is the swamp. Biden is why we have Trump. Biden is corrupt. He's a longtime corrupt politician. He keeps going, and we want to go back to the squeaky clean days of Obama. Really? When Hillary was all about pay for play. John Kerry's still working against the interests of this country right now. John Kerry ought to be hung up for collaborating with the enemies. This guy's still advising. I think he's working for Iran. It's amazing. So I do appreciate though the president wanting to get us out of the Middle East. There's no reason for us to be there. I hate to see the Kurds suffer. Some will, but not all the Kurds are being are there in Syria. There's a whole Kurdish nation that's not over there. We love the Kurds, frankly, but they're going to have to, fight their own fight. I mean, it is what it is. We've paid them a lot of money. We help them out where we can, but we got to get the hell out of there. We don't need to be trying to run the border of Syria and the Kurds and Turkey when we can't even defend our own border because the Democrats won't let us. You know, the irony about Mexico, they do more for American immigration policy than the Democrat Party will do. The fact that they haven't solved our immigration crisis, which has been a crisis since Obama's been in office, it's ridiculous. And yet they still want this open border. Bring your diseases. We don't care who you are. We don't know who you are. And we want you to vote immediately. That's how stupid the Democrats are. They're very corrupt. And you know what? They want to turn the whole country into California, specifically San Francisco, and specifically not Pelosi's San Francisco, but the drug infested homeless part of San Francisco, which is right across the street from her gated community.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. When Trump was doing, I forget where he was at. He's in Minnesota, but the one thing that I liked what he said was, and I don't think a lot of people get it. First of all, we have no right being in Syria, and I feel bad for those people, but it's not our problem. The billions of dollars that we spend there, we could be spending on our homeless over here, women that are trying to raise their kids. By the way, it's National Boss Day. So for all you husbands out there, you need to go and thank your wives. I'm going to get in big trouble with that one. By the way, my program manager told me to say that, and she's pretty funny. Anyways, hello, Rosie. Tom says, just like they don't have to help us with ISIS, but they did. You know, that's not our problem. What's been going on over there?
You know, it's tough. I mean, I hate what's going on. But the bottom line is, you know, we got to get out of there. So why not get out of there? And there's no easy way. I do think that Turkey will pay serious consequences. I've never been a big fan of Erdogan. He's got to go sooner or later. That guy's bad for Turkey. He's bad for NATO. And he's good for Middle East chaos. So I'm not a big fan of Turkey. But they are a NATO ally, and we can't necessarily go to war against a NATO ally. So it's a tough decision, a tough call, but we can support the Kurds in other ways, and we will.
We don't need to be there. And I liked what Trump said in one of his things on TV there. He said, you know, he has to go there and he watches the mothers climb on coffins. It's not fair for us to go have our men and women and that represent our country go fight a fight that's not ours. Now, I talked to a lady that was from Syria a while back, and I talked to a guy that was doing some, I don't know if he was in the Taliban or whatever it was, but he made a good point. When Bush stuck his nose into their business, it's like two brothers fighting, and they're going to fight. But when you stick your nose into a brother's fight, then you're in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. And we don't need our young men.
Yeah, I agree. They'll unite and fight against the outsider. And, you know, to be honest, we have friends in the Middle East, Israel, a great country, and they're there. And we have in Egypt, we have allies in the Middle East. And Turkey's supposed to be an ally, but they're difficult to deal with. But the bottom line is, and I don't agree with the Turks. I mean, I'm pro-Kurd. But you know, there's an element of the Kurds that does terrorize Turkey. But part of that goes back to World War II. They should have cut out a country for Kurdistan. I mean, the Kurds used to have their own country, and then they kind of divided it all up, and they screwed the Kurds in the 40s, and we're paying for it now. But they're great warriors, they're great fighters, and we like the Kurds, and hopefully we can help prevent a terrible tragedy, because they're good fighters. They will fight. And I'll tell you what, Turkey, hey, they better watch out. This could be an ongoing thing. I like, you know, Syria. One thing about Assad, he did protect the Christians. He protected the Christians more than most of the other Muslim nations. So everybody wanted to get rid of Assad. I heard something on Fox today, too. And the lady's normally pretty good, the blonde that used to work for Bush.
Megyn Kelly,
made the comment,
or
yeah, not Megyn,
not Megyn Kelly. I know who you're talking about.
She made a comment that Obama wasn't trying to do regime change. Yes, he was. Everybody was talking about Assad must go back in the Obama years. Assad's got to go. Everybody was talking about Assad's got to go. He had the red line, then he backed off on it. But one thing about Assad, though, and I don't know if he has to go or not, but he did protect the Christians more than most of the Middle East countries. And I just hate to see Christians getting wiped out in the Middle East. I get a little bit offended by my friends from Saudi Arabia and other Middle East countries that come over here and are free to worship, but yet we can't go over there and worship our God. You can't take your Bible to Saudi Arabia. So, again, we have a lot to be thankful for. So if to our Muslim brothers, you want to come over here and be an American, great, okay? But we don't have room for that idiotic ISIS Muslim culture where it's you guys don't want to be a part of America. I mean, America is what makes is you want to come here, learn our customs, learn our traditions, learn what it is to be an American, learn the language. Okay, we don't need to have a bunch of little ISIS cells living here in the states. In other words.
You know what I've noticed, Greg? I got to give a shout out to Rosie. That's my niece. But the one thing that I've noticed here in the last, we've been doing this show for what, about 6 months now, you and I, on the problems in American democracy. And the one thing that I've noticed is there's a lot more young people. And I'm not talking about in their 20s. I'm talking about teenagers that are starting to watch the show. And I'm glad they're watching it because I try to get out facts, not hearsay or this. I'm not CNN. CNN to me is a freaking joke. Most 99% of the things are jokes that you see.
Well, they got exposed. I mean, we all knew they were biased, and then Veritas came in and did their little confirmed the bias. But, most educated people could see through CNN. I mean, they've been misrepresenting the facts. That debate last night when, I don't know, Shepard Smith wannabe, the other guy, they're like twins. One works for CNN, one used to work for Fox. I forget the names of them, but I think they may be super friendly. I don't know. But to make a long story short, they always want to say, oh, the unfounded accusations against Biden, or all this was not true. They want to just smear everybody and everything that doesn't fit their impeach Trump, motif.
I'm not going to say that Hunter Biden did anything illegal, but I think he took it to, he leaned out the window and his dad told him how far he could lean out before he was going to fall. But when you look at, and you can see us all over the news. The guy had no experience on anything, gets kicked out of the military for being a pothead, which, hey, hats off to him for that. But
I heard he was a crackhead. I heard his drug of choice was cocaine. And when I saw the interview, he looked like he was an old cokehead to me. But, that's just me. And who am I? I'm just a criminal defense lawyer that's dealt with cokeheads for most of my career. So I'm just saying that he looked like a cokehead to me. He looked like he still may be on it.
Hello, David. Hello, Carl. Tiny. Tiny's one of my favorite guys. I mean, this guy is all American. So is Doug Williams. He's watching tonight. But, you got Hunter Biden, who is he owns 10% of BHR Investments. Now, he said, and what the news has been saying is he got $1.5 billion. No, he didn't. BHR, his investment company that he's got 10% of, and people can do the math. I don't need to do the math for him. 10% of $1.5 billion is what he got. That's a lot of money. And the fact that he jumped on a jet, but I'm going to jump off of him because it's just too easy. Joe Biden is too easy. When he gets up there on the debates, it's like howdy doody.
So bad. He can barely remember his name.
And Elizabeth.
He can barely remember his name. It's sad. The guy's borderline dementia, and that's the best the Democrats got to offer. That and Pocahontas, really? And then Bernie Sanders, give me a break. Feel the burn. All I can tell you is they got two old white men running the Democratic Party, and then an old lady that don't know if she's white or American Indian. Okay? She thought she was Indian until she was 70 years old. I think she's the youngest of the bunch, Miss Warren. I think she's about 70 herself. But until like the last 6 months, she thought she was an Indian. So she's a confused woman.
Yeah, after Greg gets off here tonight in about 20 minutes, I've got some stuff that I'm going to be giving away. I'll probably give it away on Friday night, but the listeners tonight are going to be enrolled in it. I have some hats from the Oaks. I have some T-shirts from St. John Shipbuilding. I have some stuff that I'm going to be giving away, a couple CDs, stuff like that. So if you guys want to listen to the end of the show, make sure you figure out how to get it. We'll come up with something. But Tom wrote in and says, when you use your presidential office to call on other countries to help and getting reelected is where I have a problem. I agree with
That's
that.
not what happened, though. I wish people would read the doggone transcript. The transcript was, hey, it was looking backwards. Congratulated the guy from winning. He ran on an anti corruption platform. Nobody thought he could win. He won just like Trump won. And the whole call was about looking back at 2016. And then at the last couple of paragraphs of this long call. Oh, by the way, can you look into this thing with the crowdsource? Because Hillary Clinton's server is apparently in Ukraine.
Owned by a
With all
Ukrainian.
of our secrets. So, yeah, he wanted them to look into that. He wasn't saying look forward. And by the way, you might want to check in on this Biden matter. And that's just looking into corruption. And he ran on trying to drain the swamp of corruption. And I will tell you this, Biden is the swamp. He represents the swamp. It is corrupt to do that. I mean, this whole pay-to-play thing, and I don't know what Hillary and the foundation was so bad to begin with. That was horrible. And then Obama acting like there was never a problem over there. It's because they had a crooked attorney general who covered up everything Obama did, from the FBI gun thing to Mexico. A lot of the crazy stuff Obama did.
Well,
he could never. He was sick. That's why we have Trump. Thank God. It's sad to say that Obama begat Trump. If Obama wasn't such a crappy president, we wouldn't have gotten Trump.
I'll tell you what's really pissing me off, and that's Shifty Schiff, the liar up there. He's the biggest liar on Capitol. Before he released his phone call records. This is what Adam Schiff said in his statement, and he was quoting Trump. He says that Trump says, when he was talking to the president of Ukraine, he says, I want you to make.
I wouldn't even quote it because it was completely a fabrication. It was completely false.
This is how bad. This is how bad he is. He says, I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent. Understand, lots of dirt on them, and on this and that. Don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I ask, which is a blatant freaking lie. And then the thing that really pisses me off, and these politicians need to see, is this not them, the politicians. It's we, the American citizens. There should be more transparency. They should open the doors, let the Republicans, let everybody in, the independents, especially the news. And I don't care if it's fake news, legitimate news, whatever it is. The First Amendment gives us the right to freedom of press. And now they got a whistleblower that's a friend of Joe Biden. And of Shifty Schiff.
Clapper and Brennan. He used to work for Brennan. He's a CIA operative, a dirty CIA guy, just like Schumer, who did a quid pro quo. He threatened Trump. He said, look, you don't mess with intelligence or they got 17 ways to screw you up. Yes, Obama unleashed the intelligence, weaponized the intelligence department against our own duly elected president. He can't trust his own intelligence department. They need to fire the CIA director as soon as possible. We should not have dirty CIA operatives trying to undermine our president because they disagree with his foreign policy. They disagree with something the president said, but mainly it's about style. The guy's doing a great job on the economy. He's bringing our boys home. He's doing what he said he would do, and the country's strong again. I mean, and then the Democrats keep trying to do everything they can to slow the progress down of this country. It's wrong.
Marsha Baldwin wrote in saying, hi, I love this show. Hello, Greg Martinson. Hey. If I don't get to your name, it's because we have a lot of people listening to the show. But, I just don't get it. One of our constitutional amendments in our Bill of Rights is the right to due process. You have the right to face your accuser. And the fact that they're not letting this whistleblower, which is a joke, come in.
I don't think he's a whistleblower. I think he's a traitor to the country, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what? It's almost like taking Ford. Remember Ford? Everybody, this lady, she accused Kavanaugh. Well, it turns out she was a load. She was a crock of BS. And only the most blind, stupid, partisan Democrats would buy her thing. And what they said was, she's telling her truth, which means she's lying through her teeth, but she might want us to believe it, so we're going to call her truth. Well, anyway, imagine that, and then not bringing it out and not letting the American people see what a fraud she was. Same thing happens with this whistleblower. Because the phone call, I pulled the text, there was nothing wrong with the phone call. As a matter of fact, They were surprised that Trump was released it because they had it all overbilled and oversold anyway. The complaint about the phone call had so many misrepresentations, and it was written by probably Schiff himself. But the Schiff is a crook. He's crooked. He's corrupt, like the DNC, like Pelosi. I've never seen such corruption in Washington D.C. It's got to be. It's just one of the most corrupt places in the world, frankly. It's just sad, all this pay to play. The Democrats, Pelosi would turn our country into a third world. She'd turn our country into a disaster, a banana republic. That's how the House of Representatives is acting. They've thrown due process out the window, like you say. I mean, come on. I mean, I'd like to see the whistleblower, have him explain his connections to Biden. I think he used to work with Biden. I mean, the whole thing just stinks to high heaven because it's an organized setup. But the more they do that, the more the American people see through it.
Yeah, Martha Mann wrote in and said it's all about power. They want it back any way they can get it. They don't care about the people. It's absolutely right. What have they done in Congress since they've been in? Every stinking day, it's impeach, impeach, impeach. That's all it's about with them.
No, when it's not about impeaching, it's about, gee, they don't want us to drink big gulp Cokes. They don't want us to have chocolate milk in our schools. They want to micromanage our lives and tell us we can't eat meat. You know, if they got into power, they'd be taxing beef. These guys are crazy. Okay, they're crazy. The Democrats can't sell their message because it doesn't resonate. Only the most ignorant parts of the country who've dumbed down education, i.e. California, maybe some pockets in the Northeast and Chicago, buy into this garbage. It's just failed liberal ideas, but it's worse than liberal ideas. Even the liberals should be offended by these ultra-left lunatics, the OACs, the Muslim Brotherhood lovers of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, Martha Mann wrote, she said, I heard Trey Gowdy joined the president's legal team. Yep, the same thing I heard.
Yeah, he did, but there's a catch to that. There was some sort of deal where you're not supposed to work for the government for a year, so he's not going to be able to do anything until like January.
I have a question for you. Where the hell has Nadler been at? I mean, Nadler was all over the news, impeach, impeach, impeach. And since he got shot out of the water, I haven't seen anything for him. It's like Pelosi moved shifty shift.
Pelosi's corrupt. She's corrupt, and she prefers to deal with her equally corrupt friend, Schiff. Okay? So they all been had. They're going to be swept out of power. I cannot wait for the election. I hope the American people can understand that they were lied to in 2018 when these 40 different so-called moderate Democrats got elected, said they were going to work across the aisle, said they agreed with Trump on this, that, and the other in these Trump districts, and then completely got in bed with Pelosi. About 3/4 of them got in bed the day they were elected and reneged on their vows. So it is what it is.
Let me ask you a personal question here.
Sweep them out of power. They're terrible.
Okay, let me ask you a personal question. This is off of the subject a little bit.
Don't let me think. Don't think I don't like Democrats. I think everybody should have a Democrat as a pet.
Okay, let me ask you something. It's a personal question now. If, with the stuff that's been going on with Nancy Pelosi lately, is she still your pick for first place or in the top 10 in the beauty pageant for the geriatrics of 90 years and older?
No, she's over 80. She's over 80, and she's looking good.
Oh, you cut off. Okay.
No, I think she's about 80, 81, but she goes, is she as attractive as Jane Fonda? I don't know. Maybe you could get a picture of both of them and post them up. We'll judge.
Oh, Hanoi Jane got arrested the other day. Did you see that? Protesting on the steps. For
protesting what?
For the environment. Now, I saw this on a...
Wait a minute. I love the environment, but the environment got screwed when they wanted to go to windmills and solar panels. So they want to go ahead and destroy hundreds of thousands of acres to put hundreds of thousands of acres of solar panels and destroy our environmental friends, our animals, our birds. Same thing with windmills. It destroys. It does a lot of environmental damage and stuff.
Oh my God!
Killing a lot American eagles crying out loud.
One of my favorite fire chiefs, Cheryl Holt, is on. Cheryl, I got some pictures of you at the veterans thing. They had a veterans bass tournament the other day, this past Saturday. Man, what a great tournament!
Say you can't fish. They're going to raise the fishing rates, and they're going to make you pay more for your bait.
I
They're
will
gonna
not.
take your
I am not going.
AR-14s away, and your AR-47s, and when they're done taking those away, and then people start shooting people with pistols, then they're going to come after your 6-gun, because we can't have people shooting people after we took their AR-47s away. So we got to take all their pistols away next. It never stops.
They would be
take your guns.
Yeah, before they do that, they would be better off trying to give the people. Now, the NRA is not a bunch of nuts. They teach more gun safety than anything. But they would be better off trying to give the American citizens that own guns an economy colonoscopy. You know what that is? It would be easier to give them an economy colonoscopy. That's where they shove a hamster up their ass with a GoPro helmet on, because they're not going to get their guns. Period.
The irony is, and guess who else wants to keep their guns? Black people love their guns too. And why should we take guns from black people? You want to go into Chicago, into certain areas of Chicago? These people have guns to defend themselves from the criminals, and take their guns away too. We just had this issue with the Dallas police officer shooting the homeowner. Yeah, AR-15, right. But I'm just saying that, the Dallas police officer, that was a terrible thing. And the homeowner acted like a homeowner would. She might have picked up a pistol. Doesn't matter. Police officer probably shouldn't have shot her. Shouldn't have shot her, period.
Oh, there was another one that...
Terrible tragedy.
Another cop that just went and shot a woman that was there. Neighbor saw her door open, and I think it was in Texas.
That was Fort Worth.
Yeah,
right out
and then shot through the window and killed her. I mean...
Terrible. But I'm just saying that, everybody, red, yellow, black, or white, we're Americans, and we might want to own a gun for our own self-protection. Now, here's the problem, and I see it a lot in my business. In certain areas of town, they're rough, and certain areas of town are high crime rates. And guess what? Some of these young people or old people used to be young and be criminals. And they may have picked up a felony conviction, but they still live in a bad neighborhood, and they still might want to have a gun to protect themselves. And what happens is 10 years down the road, he's a convicted felon, he had a gun. Well, he might have used that gun to prevent a crime, but because he had a gun, now he's got to go to prison for 3 years. So I'm just saying that, guns don't kill people. People do, obviously. But, even felons and even people in the roughest part of society want to have their weapons to protect themselves. Why should only the government have a weapon? Why should only the government have? We got to wait on the police officers when someone's trying to kick my door in and cause harm to my family? I don't think so.
You were talking about the environment a minute ago, and I was just looking at one of my notes. I saw on one of the TV stations, news stations up in your neck of the woods, where they're sitting on there talking about the environment and Antarctica is melting off and the sea levels rising
probably
because
Channel
of
4. I think it was probably Channel 4. They're on a CNN feed. They parrot CNN. CNN lies, and then they'll parrot the lies. And it's just terrible. They lost a lot of credibility. CNN has no credibility, yet Channel 4 loves to parrot CNN. Channel 4, I lost a lot of respect for Channel 4.
We have a guy coming on the show.
It's sad.
We have a guy coming on the show, I think it's next month, that is a scientist, global scientist. And he's not a Democrat or Republican. He's from the UK. And I talked to this guy. In the Antarctica, they just discovered in the past year that there's a volcano erupting under the Antarctica, and that's why the frickin' snow has been melting and the ice. And he's saying, that happens. The Earth goes in cycles. That happens every couple 100,000 years. It's nothing to panic about. It's nothing to freak out about. But yet you've got these news stations that don't bother to do the frickin' research, and then they're all jumping on the bandwagon. I tell you what, I don't want an electric car. I like my gas and diesel truck. And with all the stuff that they put on my vehicles for the pollution control, I'm pretty sure I can go back there and drink the exhaust that's flowing out of there.
Gee, there's just there's mischief going on with the Dems. So you know you got to deal with it.
Okay, I'm giving you the last 2 minutes because I got to jump off the air. I got some other stuff I got to
Oh,
talk about.
come on. There's got to be something else
It
we
went
can
by
cover.
quick. I can't help it.
All
We're
right,
getting
well,
old.
listen,
The crap just flies
okay,
by.
look, here's what we got. We got CNN, Veritas exposing CNN. You got the DNC on Veritas complaining about Biden because, you know, it's harder to criticize Trump if Biden's kids, you know, on the dole from China. But I will say this, Biden was awfully soft on China. And while he was vice president and Obama was very soft on China, they gave away the ranch. And guess what? Stealth technology. You can thank Bill Clinton for giving the Chinese our stealth technology. He gave the Chinese so much of our military technology. Well, they didn't give it to them. They probably sold it to them. Hillary and Bill and that Clinton Foundation, nobody's even really looked into it. The whole double standard where, gee, if you're a Republican, we'll come after you and throw you to the, you know, the lions. But if you're a Democrat, you can go ahead and do just about anything as Hillary has done and not get charged, not even get looked at hardly. It's ridiculous, the double standard. But again, the Democratic Party, the Muslim Brotherhood, the mainstream media, they are one. They are all joined at the hip. It's a sad, sad state. That's why we have Trump, and that's why we have the ballot box, and we want to keep it and save it. And God bless what he's trying to do. And I like the fact that he doesn't want to have our blood all over the world. Okay, we've bailed out the world twice in 2 world wars. We don't want to have any more world wars. We're in NATO. We'd rather be a deterrent and use our boys judiciously. So we'll pray for the Kurds. And I think we need to drop the hammer on Turkey at some point in time. If they don't know how to behave, maybe they shouldn't be in NATO.
Well, Trump just announced, I saw it coming across the news feed that I read the letter while you were sitting there talking, and Trump.
On my rant?
Yeah. Well, Trump has gotten a hold of Turkey and sent him a letter, and he just released the letter that they sent. But Cheryl said, they're not getting me out of my Jeep. Amen, sister. I love my Jeep. I'll ride it till it smokes. And Grace said, yes, I read about the volcano in the Arctic. The climate change is a hoax. It's a natural evolution of the Earth. GSM.
I agree.
Anyways, thanks, Greg, for coming on tonight, and we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Okay. Well,
Same bat channel.
More news, more Democrat screw-ups to talk about.
All right, brother. Hey, I'll give you I'll give you a call because I'm going to have a couple of Trump hats to give away. The Republican.
I want one.
I got you one coming. The Republican convention got a hold of me, and they're sending me some hats. So we're going to be giving some of those away. As a matter of fact, they look like.
Republicans always get screwed by the Democratic media.
The hats that they're sending me look like this.
Hey, that's
So-
great. Hey, young people need to listen to this show. That way they might learn something because they're not learning it in school and they're not learning it watching the news.
Oh, before we
CNN is an embarrassment. They are an embarrassment.
get out of here, I had my son's in college, right? His professor got in there and told him the very first day. He said, "I'm an Obama supporter. Always have been, always will be. I hate Trump. You're probably going to get an F if you're a Trump supporter." Huh? What the hell? On that note, I'm going to let you get out of here, Greg. I'll give you a call. I'm going to be back up.
That's what they do. They'll shout you down. They don't want to hear from a free thinker. You have to be in that group think. I'm a socialist. The world's going to end in 12 years.
Oh, wait.
Don't eat meat.
We got to put your thing up tonight for your political correctness thing here. I forgot all about it. Here it is. Here's Greg's new slogan.
I like it.
Please stop calling me a cracker. The correct term is saltine American.
There you go. I like it.
Somebody sent that to me. Somebody sent that to me for you, so I told him I would put it up. It's probably Greg Williams.
I like it. I'm a Florida cracker. I got to give you credit for that. I'm definitely. Have a great day.
All right, Greg. We'll talk to you later, man. That was Greg Williams, attorney at law. If you need a good attorney, he does take care of Putnam County. I think he'll even come down to Volusia, but he'll work with you as if you can't make the payment right away or put up the lump sum, he will help you out. He does everything but murder trials. And I think he even did one of those recently. I'll have to ask him about that. Anyways, Fort Gates Ferry is going to be opening. The county, after going in and talking to them for months and months and months, a year now, they are going to go ahead and rebuild the landing there. So Fort Gates Ferry, hopefully in the next few months here, will be open. We're going to be having a golf tournament to benefit Fort Gates down at the Oaks. And I want to thank Adam for the hat. Tomorrow I'll be doing, I don't know if I'll be doing a live feed or not. Probably going to do a live feed from over at Mr. Snowden, who is over in Marion County. He has a restaurant and a bunch of other businesses, but he has a restaurant over there. Tomorrow about 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'll be doing a live feed talking about what we're going to be doing with Adam from the Oaks. If you guys haven't played golf in South Putman, they have a kick-butt golf course down here. You need to get over there and play a few holes of golf. Now, I'm not a golfer, but I plan on going over there, and I'll probably get in trouble with PETA or somebody for killing birds because I've got a bad slice to the left. But Fort Gates Ferry will be reopening. We are going to put back up the GoFundMe account. They still need to come up with about $9,000 to get the barge done. And that's Fort Gates Ferry is one of the oldest ferries. It is the oldest ferry in Florida, river crossing. When I say ferry, I'm not talking about a little person that flies around with wings on. But the Oaks Golf Course, you can go there and look at it. And I believe we have one of the flyers coming up that they're also going to be having a tournament on December 7th. And that is, you need to save this date. December 7th is the first annual Dan McKnight Memorial Golf Tournament. Dan just died here recently, a couple months ago. He passed away. But that's going to be held at the Oaks Golf Course, and the proceeds are going to benefit the South Putman Christian Service Center, and that is to benefit their food bank, their lunch cart. There is green fees. I'm not sure what they are. We'll be announcing those probably on Friday night. And we're going to be giving away one of the hats. It's for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a pink hat. It says The Oaks. My camera will focus. But we got hats and some other stuff. And let's see. What else we got on here? I'm not going to get any more political crap. What else was it? I'm trying to pull something up here. Now, we're also going to be having a cookout. Marie, when is the cookout for?
November 2nd.
It's November 2nd.
At Hitchcock's in East
At what?
Hitchcock's in East Plaquemine.
Yeah, and November 2nd. If you want some kick butt ribs now, I got to brag a little bit on myself here. And Hitchcock's ribs, they are new St. Louis baby back ribs or St. Louis ribs. Some of the best freaking ribs you'll ever eat. The proceeds from that are going to go to Fort Gates Ferry and helping restore the barge and stuff. So if you want to get some good ribs, November 2nd, not good, great, fabulous ribs. We'll be smoking them up there. Also, we have, let's put this up. This is from the American Legion Post 45. Marine Recognition Dinner. That's on Saturday, October the 20th at 6 p.m. Open to the public. Beef tips, mashed taters, gravy, broccoli. We don't say mashed potatoes in the South. We say mashed taters. Desserts, serving coffee and iced tea. Sodas and bottled water are $1, $10 for adults, $5 for children. 4 to 12, 5 for Marine veterans. You can purchase your tickets from Post Watch and then Legion members. It's a sign-up sheet on there. You have to RSVP it. Yeah, I think I need to go there. I like beef tip and rice. And that's a good price. I mean, $10 for dinner. You can't beat that. What else we got? The ribs up at Hitchcock's. Now, this week, sometime, we're also going to be doing, you guys saw Cheryl on here tonight, Holt. She's at Station 20 out by Interlocking there. Interlocking and SR 21 north of Highway 20 in Hawthorne. We're going to be doing a water benefit and snack benefit for our volunteer firefighters out there. Go into Hitchcock's over there. Miss Joanne is going to have a thing set up, and we're working with her to get it set up to get water donated to our volunteer fire departments. Now, if you're out and about, no matter what area you live in, our volunteer firefighters are the bomb. They kick ass. they can put out fires. It's not like California where everything gets burnt to the freaking ground. What is this? Okay. Wait, which one is it? What, Samantha Ann?
That's the one that rides the horses, kids. Ariana.
Okay. What about it?
Give her a say hi.
Oh, Samantha said hi. We have a writing that we do for kids, autistic children, PTSD, wounded warriors and stuff. But Samantha Ann Schaefer, her little girl comes over here, Ariana. And it's basically for anybody who wants to learn how to ride. We don't charge for it. But that little girl is kick butt. She's willing to clean stalls all the time and everything. I mean, she brushes the horses down, so I got to give a shout out to her. Hello, Diane Farmsworth. But the thing with our volunteer firefighters is no matter what area you live in, swing by. A case of water is only like $2 or $3. Swing by and pick up a case of water and just drop it off at the volunteer firefighters departments. You know, go out and get some snacks. I mean, beef jerky, Slim Jims. I'm sure I know Cheryl likes all of them. Matter of fact, get her the ones with Tabasco sauce in it. I'm sure she'll like that. I got some pictures I'm going to put up of Cheryl on Friday night. You guys are going to love these. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, yeah, back to the Fort Gates thing. Fort Gates is the ferry that crosses the St. Johns River right here in South Putnam County. It's been there for 239 years. And it's a piece of history. It's been down for 25, 26 months now because of Hurricane Irma. The county is now going to get it back up and running here. We got the barge up at St. John's Shipbuilders. Captain Dale down there, who doesn't make jack squat off of this ferry service, by the way. He hasn't changed the price since the 70s. What a great piece of history. They also rent cabins down there. I think they're like $45 a night. And they're like kitchenettes. She said, yes, you can do it. West Putnam VFD chicken dinner Saturday starting at 10:30. West Putnam Volunteer Fire Department. I'm not sure what the address is. Give me the address on that so I can shout that out to them real quick. Anyways, I got to get off the air here real quick. For you that are listening on Radio Co. or, Radio Co. is going to be switching over to, go ahead and jump on over to Facebook to either The Putman Way or IITW Radio, or you can go on YouTube to The Putman Way on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can get when the shows are coming on. Now, here coming up pretty soon, we're going to have some corruption stuff that we discovered right here in our county. Normally, I don't do that, but I am going to. Now, I've got some of these books from the Heritage Foundation. I'm going to be giving some of these away on Friday night. These are about the Constitution, and I know my readers love the Constitution and my listeners. These are from the Heritage Foundation. It's Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States. They're tiny, but they have everything in it that you need to know. If you get pulled over and you think it's an illegal search and seizure, don't let them search you. You know, if you've done nothing wrong, you should not be detained, period. Don't wait on a free air sniff. Ask if you're being detained. If you've done nothing wrong and you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be restricted in your travels. And I love our sheriff's department here and our Plaquemine Police Department. I don't think it's them, but there's a lot of places across the country where you do have a few rogue officers that don't know the Constitution. The thing is learn the Constitution, and that way you'll know your rights. Know that you have the right to carry a gun. Know that you have the right for free speech, to petition your government, which is a good thing. Now, I'm going to be announcing also coming up, we have on the 3 dates coming up. If you don't like the way things are going in the county, especially in Putnam County, there's 3 dates coming up. I believe they're in November the 6th, the 17th, or the 15th, something like that. Well, I'll be putting them on the show Friday night. You can go there. Now, this is not a bitch session to get up there and scream, but one of them is going to be in Crescent City and one's going to be in Interlaken. But you need to go to these meetings, and these are going to be at night. They're not county commissioner meetings, but some of the county commissioners are going to be there. It is a chance for you to voice your opinion. If you see something you don't like, you got a bad road, or you want to find out what's going on, show up there and ask him the questions. If you don't bitch later when things don't go your way or the way you think they should go. Our county commissioners, our politicians, our representatives, our congressmen, they work for us. They are a business. We are the owners of that business, and they work for us. If you don't like what's going on and you don't show up, again, don't bitch. If you don't get involved, don't bitch and complain. When you get involved is when things will change. You want to see everything change? Get involved with government. Under the First Amendment, you have the right to petition your government. You have the right to stand there and tell them, unlike other countries, you try it in China and your ass is going to get shot. But you're able to stand up and voice your opinion. Now, West Putnam Volunteer Chicken Dinner Saturday night at 10:30 a.m. That's in intersection of SR 21 north of Highway 20 in Hawthorne. Man, I love chicken. So, I think that's about it. I got to give my shout-outs tonight. Daniel at Waste Pro. I need to give this guy a shout-out. With the Barden Bridge and everything that's been going on, Daniel over at Waste Pro, he's the manager over there. This man has went out of his way to figure out how to get garbage out of there, your trash, your garbage, and get it to where it's not a stinking neighborhood over there where there's garbage laying all over the place. So I got to take my hat off to Daniel, man. What a great guy he is. Wayne at Fuchs in Gainesville, or Futches, Marina over there. I got to give him a shout out. Also, Clay Electric. Now, I've been getting some calls on Clay Electric and on the rate hikes. We'll get into that on Friday night. But Clay Electric did send out things that there was going to be rate hikes, and I'll get into explaining why some of your bills might have went up. I know mine went up. Now, that's just one of the things about living with an electric company. And I am going to be doing a couple of videos here to show you that during hurricane or natural disasters, or hello, Gerald, there are ways that you can make lights work with a wrench, with a piece of wire, and a magnet. And you don't have to pay for any electricity that way. Well, you don't have to buy any batteries, but I'm going to make a couple of them and put them up and show you how to do them. I've been doing these things for years. You can also, there's just a bunch of different things you can do in case of storms. We are now getting out of hurricane season, but it's great if you just want a nightlight for your kids. It's something that you can build with your kids. Let's see, Cheryl wrote, menu is smoked chicken, baked beans, corn, and a roll for $7. Holy crap, that's cheaper than you can go to a local fast food restaurant. Is your husband smoking this meat, Cheryl? James shows up, and he does a lot of volunteer stuff. He showed up at the Veterans Bass Tournament, and this guy, he is a huge smoker and was one of the best chicken smokers I've ever seen in my life. Damn, that stuff was good. I got to go up there. When is that? When was that, Chris?
When's what?
The chicken dinner thing? That is this Saturday starting at 10:30 a.m. Okay, Cheryl, hook me up for a chicken dinner. You want one, Chris? I'll swing by and get you one. Okay. Well, there's two. I know Marie's going to get one. So that's three. I need three of them at least, Cheryl. West Putman VF Chicken, Saturday at 10:30 a.m., intersection of 21, North Highway 20 in Hawthorne. Smoked chicken, baked beans, corn, and a roll. $7. Hell, you can't beat that. Now remember, Friday night, giving Constitutions away. I got some hats and stuff to give away, and we will see you then. Oh, shout-outs. Mr. Steve, I'm sorry about your brother passing away. That really sucks. We've got Austin Neals closes out the show with Brother in Arms. Jason from Cars will be on here Monday night. Now, Monday night, you really need to watch the show. Okay, Jason is a school teacher. He also owns Cars, Community Auto Specialist Center. They're right there on Krill on 20. If it's right near the Taco Bell, it looks like a big barn, a red barn. One of the best auto mechanics in Putnam County, probably the best auto mechanic. His staff and stuff, and he has one in Green Cove Springs and one over in Ocala. But he's a school teacher, and he came up with an app. And I've been doing radio and writing and stuff for about 40 years. And all the time that I've been doing this stuff, now he was featured last night on First Coast News, and he will be featured tomorrow night at 5, I believe. He's supposed to call me with a time at Jacksonville, Jack's News. Him and a couple other school teachers came up with an app for active shooters, for kids that are getting in trouble. It will cut the response time in half. And after reviewing this app, and he came into the studio and we went over and he showed it to me, man, what a kick butt app. This thing could save a multitude of lives with just this thing. So you guys are going to want to watch Monday night, especially if you have kids in school or grandchildren in school. This app needs, Clay County is getting ready to accept this app. And this is something that all the schools need. There's similar apps out there, but they're nowhere near this one. This is a kick-ass app. And like I said, it will save multitudes of lives with these children. It's not the guns that kill people. It's the stupid idiots behind it, but you've got to cut the response time down. Now, one thing I did find out is in the schools in Florida, since that little butthole down there in South Florida shot those kids and he pulled the fire alarm, now if a fire alarm is pulled, the kids are not allowed to leave the classroom until it's verified. To me, that is asinine. But this app will cut down all that. The teachers will be able to see it. It pings on the phone. We'll get in more into that. Jolie said it popped out and it disappeared. She said, thank you to all our military active vets as well as our first responders, firefighters, and law enforcement. I got to take a hat off to that one, Jolie. And she is so right. When you see one of our volunteer firefighters or one of our combat vets, even if they're in the service now, or you see an old man with a veteran's hat on, walk up and thank them for their service. You know, and I've said it 1,000 times. When you see a police officer, don't tell your kids, I'm going to have him arrest you if you're not good. All that does is instill fear into these kids' hearts about the cops. I know probably 90% of the cops in Putnam County and on Palatka Police Department, they're great cops. You can't blame all the police and all the sheriff's offices for one or two rogue police officers in the United States or one or two accidents that happen. But don't tell your kids that you're going to scare the daylights out of them. I'm going to have this cop arrest you. No, take your kid over and talk to the cop and let them see that they're real people. Most of these officers have children of their own. They will flip their siren on for the kids. They will show them the inside of their car. I mean, and don't instill fear into them, but make sure you thank our vets, our first responders, especially our volunteer firefighters, that they get paid $5 a stinking call. You know, and we're also going to have a golf tournament coming up in February to benefit our volunteer firefighters. So we'll get on all that Friday night. And then Friday night's going to be what's pissing me off. We got some crazy news. To all you listening, thank you so much to our sponsors. Look at the show as it's going on if you're watching it instead of listening it. Look at the sponsors as they scroll across the bottom of the screen. And remember to keep your stuff local. Don't go out of county when you can buy it in county. Don't buy it on Amazon and save $1 or $2. Go to our local businesses. Keep everything local. All right, guys and gals, I got to get out of here. My time is up about 30 seconds ago. We love you. We will see you back here on Friday night. And remember, support your veterans. We love you. We're out. Oh, and I got to give my shout-outs to Annette and Audrey and Mr. Steve and, let's see, Cindy. Also to the mayor of Palatka, Terrell Hill. And we're out.
It's the one I learned to play on. Believe me or not, it's been all around the world. It's been back and forth to Georgia.